Good morning and welcome to the Really Big Football Show. I'm your host, BA. I have with me Keith Ingo, James Martin, Jack Hirsch. Should have another guest on in a few moments, hopefully. But we are now in the, well, I can say, the playoffs for the NFL are shaping up. College bowl games are going on, although that's not as significant because there's 200 bowls going on out there. So that's kind of weird. But other than that, I mean, the NFL playoffs are coming up. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about Jack. I want you to reiterate. You went to a bowl game. Was Toledo and who was the other team that Toledo played?
Yeah, last Tuesday I was actually in a little bit of communication with Keith as I went because I know that's Keith's thing. I went last Tuesday night, Boca Raton. It was called, I forgot the exact name. It was with the Bush Beans Bowl, and the people were wearing those hats. I didn't get my free hat coming in. I was a little ticked off about that because when the free stuff is available and somehow I miss it, I get annoyed. But I wouldn't have kept that silly bean hat that people were wearing. But it was Louisville against Toledo. It turned out to be a great game, won by Louisville 27-22. But what got me was, how enjoyable it was watching a college game atmosphere as opposed to an NFL game atmosphere. As Keith pointed out to me afterward, it's so much more fun if it's a home team. And there wasn't a home team for either one of, those two teams. It was fun. But it also reminded me of why I like the NFL more, guys. The college games drag on too long. As great a game as it was, I don't like a 2:00 game ending at 6:00. I just don't. It's a little too long. At least the NFL goes maybe 3 hours and 10 minutes or whatever. But this was closer to 4 hours. And that's typical of college football. They drag things out. But I had a blast. And next year, they usually play at Miami's Hard Rock Stadium, a playoff game. The goal is to go there. But instead of a $60 seat, I'm going to have to spend about $350, $400 to sit in the boondocks. But, I'm prepared to do that.
Start a GoFundMe now. You'll be all set.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm going to bet on the game. I'm going to bet with Frank Laterzo, and that's going to pay for my ticket.
There you go. Bring Frank with you. That's
what probably plays into the time in regards to college is the first down rule. The clock stops every time you get a first down.
It's the eternal reviews, though. They review freaking everything in college football. It seems there's a targeting review on every series, and they have stoppages right and left. I like the fact I don't want them to do away with that first down rule because that's a big factor at the end of games. It does slow it down. I agree, James, but
yeah. Or
maybe they do it later. You only do it inside 2 minutes or something, but. It's more the stoppages for the reviews and that type of thing. It's crazy.
That too, yeah.
So on the big slate of, I know we had 2 NFL playoff games going on too yesterday, but did anybody catch any of the bowl games? I know, James, you said you missed your LSU bowl game, but I think that's probably
kind of glad I missed that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's funny. I used to love bowl season, and the week between New Year's and Christmas, all the bowl games felt like they had some excitement to them. I bet you, I have not watched one whole game. I've watched maybe an hour of games in total so far. The matchups don't seem to intrigue me. You tune in, you don't know who's playing because there's so many kids that have opted out. Coaches aren't there. Like I said, the matchups aren't that great, and there's so much focus on the playoff that the bowl system's in a lot of trouble. Keith,
I got a little educated going to the game last Tuesday. I look at it a little differently now. I was sitting behind the Toledo bench, and you see all the people from Toledo who traveled to the game, what it meant to the college kids, the staff, the program. It means so much to the people there. It means nothing to us. Okay, but it means so much to them. So all these individual bowl games, the idea that they get to travel, be part of an event, it's really important to them. And it actually is part of the educational process of going on a trip like that. We're looking at it like sports fans in a sense, like looking at the playoff picture. I look at it a little differently now.
There's great value for the programs themselves because they get to keep practicing until those games are concluded. So that's a good thing. Yeah, but how would you feel if you're Clemson and Penn State and got sent to 5-degree New York City with 10 inches of snow the night before the game? I don't.
You could always say you played at Yankee Stadium. No, that's a big thing. Watching Army in Connecticut, it's at Fenway Park and freezing weather. But it's an experience once you get through with the game. It's agony to play the game, but it's the experience of a lifetime.
I'm going to have to disagree, Jack. I'm on the side with Keith
with Rick
here.
Now he agreed with me, so you disagree.
I usually don't disagree with Rick, but I'm going to say that I agree with Keith. I mean, it's just it doesn't have the same meaning. Players aren't playing anymore. The coaches are leaving a lot sooner, and it's oversaturated. I mean, a Pop-Tart bowl, a Duke's Mayo bowl. I mean, the Bush baked beans. You just went to that one. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't get a free bowl of beans to go with that.
James, I'm a pretty old guy, but when I went to Brooklyn College, I didn't play college football. I remember bowl games were not plentiful, and they had a thing called the Cocoa Bowl. And it created some excitement for the kids on the team and the school and all. Let's not look at it from our perspective. We couldn't care less, about all these bowl games. But for anyone who's playing in it, I mean, it's a big thing.
I suppose. And there's some guys who do get a chance to play because other guys have left. So I suppose there's that. But it's me as a fan, and I am speaking as a fan only. I've lost interest in these games, and I used to have great interest. The week between Christmas and New Year's, every night you'd be watching a game, and you've had some kind of rooting interest, whether it was a wager. How can I wager on when I don't even know who the players are going to be playing that day? There's anybody who's betting on these games is absolutely nuts.
And what you just said, Keith, that it's lost when it lost its luster, and in regards to the bowl games, I liken it unto the Pro Bowl and how it is now. To me, the bowl games are kind of similar. The bowl game was exciting after the Super Bowl, when players who played in the playoffs and in the Super Bowls went on to play. These are the creme de la creme players are playing. The best players of that season played in the Pro Bowl, and you got to see guys like, I remember Drew Brees had just come off a Super Bowl win, and he was out there throwing to Larry Fitzgerald. It was like stuff like that, man. It's just like, wow, you get to see these players play, but now you don't see them anymore, and now they don't even have the game anymore at all. It's just like it's before. It's not even a football game anymore. It's flag football. What has become of football? I mean, and so. I don't like the bowl games anymore because nobody's playing. Nobody's playing, and then
you're filling up TV time. You don't have to watch it. We have so many cable channels now. It's all over. Look, during the regular season, when it means a lot, every channel seems to have a game on. You can watch the highest profile game. You can watch Ohio State playing Michigan. Or you could turn and you could watch, no offense, Keith, Albany play, whoever upstate.
I don't take offense to that.
At the same time.
To Jack's point, there is meaning for the programs, but the problem is these bowls won't survive without television. And I can tell you there may be games on, Jack, but there's nobody watching them. There's nobody at the games. You showed me a picture, and I made a joke to Jack. I said it looks like Jack and all his closest friends were at the game because
the stands are pretty empty. I mean, I bought a $60 ticket. I should have bought a $30 ticket. I could have sat in the same spot.
Same way at Yankee Stadium yesterday. All these bowl games are like half full.
At the end of the day, ratings matter, and bottom line is money.
They need
and I just want to point out the first Super Bowl ever played, the stadium was half empty in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Packers in the Chiefs.
That's a really
yeah, but that was like a first of an anomaly. So you're taking college bowl games now that have been around for the last 50, 70 years.
It was also
and you're adding on to that. Nobody wants to
There was also
Both of the-
60,000 people, by the way, Jack, because the Coliseum holds about 120, doesn't it? I mean, so there was a lot of people.
No, there weren't 60,000. We got to look that up. My guess was they had about 35,000 there.
Well, to turn your argument against
off the top of my head, I'm taking a guess.
But to use your argument against you, these bowl games used to sell out. There used to be people at them. There aren't anymore. So we're going.
There's so many more bowl games. There's so many more. That's why.
That's the point. That's the
But
point.
it's how you manage it. The game I went to, if they put it on in Boca Raton the night before the playoff that are coming to Miami, New Year's Day, the night before or the afternoon before, people would be in town looking for something to do. People were going to the college playoff game, and it wouldn't be that far away. And I'm sure a lot of them would have caught the other bowl game just for something to do.
No, they'll be home watching the Miami Ohio State game. That's where they'll be. They won't be a Boca Raton Bowl.
I have a suggestion. You guys tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. Why not just take these smaller teams exactly. Wow. These smaller teams are teams that didn't make significant bowls. Put them in like a NIT tournament. I mean, a lighter tournament or several and just, because it would be more fun to watch. And, I think it'd be more competitive to see something like that.
Sure, definitely. I like that idea, James. If we got to do it, if we got to give these teams a chance to play, which I'm fine with, do something that creates some interest. I like that. Let's do something different.
Well, let me do a quick rundown of Saturday's bowl games and scores real quick here. In the Military Bowl, East Carolina beat Pittsburgh 23-17. In the Pinstripe Bowl, which you guys just mentioned, Clemson lost to Penn State 22-10. In the Fenway Bowl, what is it? Every park's going to have a football game in it now. Army 41, UConn 16. Did you watch this game, Keith? You said you might check this one out. The BYU at Georgia Tech.
I watched a little bit of that. That was actually a pretty good game last night. BYU. Georgia Tech had their way in the first half. BYU had their way in the second half. It was an interesting game. I didn't watch all of it. I was kind of checking in and out of it. I was watching the NFL, but that so far was the most interesting game and most interesting matchup I've seen so far.
Let me just ask Keith, but I just backtrack one quick second. The Connecticut game, Connecticut had an interim coach for one game. What's the deal there? And they got blown out. He didn't do himself any favors.
Jim Moore took a new job. That's why.
Right. But the interim coach, is he going to be hired full time? Did that one game make a difference to lose that badly?
Yeah, he's not getting the job. Let's put it that way. They're looking at bigger names there at UConn. They want to continue to build on the success of Jim Moore. And Jim Moore did have some success at UConn, relatively speaking. They don't want to. They're not going to take a step backwards with an assistant here. I don't think.
So did you guys talk about Kyle? Did y'all talk about Kyle Whittingham Friday?
Well, he hadn't signed yet. No, he had not signed yet, so we hadn't had a chance. That's a great hire, by the way. Great hire.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering, man, would nobody mention this? That's a big story.
Yeah, that's a good hire. Now we just need to get rid of the AD. We get rid of the AD, we'll be fine.
It's a little odd. Jack and I think have touched on this. It's a little odd for the AD to still be there and be part of the new coach, but Kyle Whittingham is about his. These words will come back to bite me. There's not a guy more squeaky clean in college football than Kyle Whittingham, and they need to clean up that program before they need to worry about winning. Both matter, but the AD's got to go for sure. I agree.
Well, the AD might not have any authority anymore because I don't think Kyle Whittingham comes there and has to work under the AD. He probably has an understanding that he's in charge and he's untouchable as far as the AD goes.
I'm sure he wants to clean house of anything he sees a problem, for sure.
It's
a good hire. You like to hire Brian as a Michigan guy?
I mean, we'll see what it works out to be. I mean, it's okay. I mean, whatever.
I'm telling you right now, best hire of the college football season. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be very happy.
177 wins is okay, man. I mean, in that division, I mean, come on. Utah has never been. Sorry, go ahead, Keith.
The most underrated coach in college football, Kyle Whittingham. I've been saying it since I've been doing shows, and he is
we will be finding that out this season. Utah in that conference is different than Michigan in the Big Ten.
That's
We'll
funny.
see how it goes.
I remember going beating some really good teams in the Sugar Bowl and other places too. So he can coach.
They had some good runs. Trust me, like you said in the SEC, we've seen that dude, and they've won some big games.
You've done more with less than anybody you can think of in the
Isn't he the guy that developed Zach Wilson?
No.
You.
Oh, BYU, yeah.
Jack went right to a negative point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Where's the button I can press to get him out of there?
Anyway, so the rest of the bowl games, of course, that was a Pop-Tarts bowl game. Jesus. That was number 12 BYU beating number 22 Georgia Tech 25-21. In the Arizona Bowl, Fresno State beat Miami of Ohio 18-3. Then, of course, New Mexico Bowl, San Diego Aztecs beat the number 25 North Texas won 49-47 over San Diego in a New Mexico Bowl, promptly enough. And in the Gator Bowl, the number 19 Virginia Cavaliers beat the Missouri Tigers 13-7. And the LSU, last but not least, and sorry again there, James, Texas Bowl, Houston, 21st ranked Houston beat LSU 38-35. So that wrapped up all of Saturday's bowl games.
Another underrated coach in Houston, Willie Fritz. Third most active wins of active coaches, Willie Fritz at Houston. Good coach.
I'm surprised no one's grabbed him for a job.
He went from Tulane to Houston just 2 years ago. So he's also in his 60s, so he's not going to go much further probably. But so is Kyle Whittingham. So,
all right. So I mean, anybody else have anything on college football besides the hire from Michigan? There's a couple other coaches that kind of went in here, snuck in there under the radar too. Keith probably has more information on that. It wasn't like besides the one that you just mentioned.
As far as hires?
Yeah.
There hasn't been anything really significant other than that. I mean, there's been a few.
Yeah, just one last, I guess, to sum up on the coaching hot seat. Wasn't Dabo Swinney rumored to be likely on the hot seat early in the season, and that seemed to have passed?
After yesterday's performance, it might be back on the table. That team didn't show up to play at all. I don't know what was going on there. And I don't know if it's Dabo. The problem with Dabo is Dabo will coach again somewhere. Things are wearing out in Clemson. His way doesn't work, and he's got to adapt. And he's so stubborn, he won't. He doesn't make him a bad football coach. His approach here, he's not going to keep up with the Joneses if he doesn't want to get into the transfer portal and NIL bigger than what they do, which is almost nothing. You know, his philosophy was to develop guys, have, third year, fourth year starters. This was supposed to be the year. It all came to fruition with Clay Kubnik and some other guys hitting their third years and senior years. And it was the worst year he's had. So Dabo's probably, I don't think he'll get fired. I think you'll hear him decide to spend more time with his family at some point, and which is code name for he got fired, but he didn't get fired. But
an extended vacation.
Yeah. I still like Dabo a lot. I think he's a really good football coach, and he's good, a good leader for young men, right? Which we don't seem to care about college football anymore. All we care about is wins and losses. But his way isn't working as far as the wins, and you got to win at this level. Or just you can. Of course, he put out my least favorite quarterback in the NFL too. So I got to say, maybe not all the men that come out of Clemson are good people.
But there you go, Danny. Agreed with.
Yeah,
put you on that one.
I like him.
I don't like the hypocritical aspect of these coaches, man. I mean, you don't like the transfer portal, and they don't like Nick Saban doesn't like the NIL, but they walk easily to the bank with those $10 million, $12 million paychecks.
Fair.
Just come on, man. This is a professional game now. It's not just college. It's not just teaching young men to be grown men. I get it. But you got to be fair. You got to pay these guys, and like you said, to compete, you got to be able to use the transfer portal. It's there for you. It's a free agency, pretty much. That's what it is. You can't get around that. You got to use it. And for him to be that stubborn and just not, that's just boneheaded to me. He needs to be fired.
Very hot take.
Shifting onto the NFL playoffs. We had 5 games played already so far for this week. Started Thursday, Christmas Day. Hate Christmas games. And we had 4 teams. 3 teams that basically, one team actually had playoff implications. Denver had to keep winning, by the way, to make sure they can hold on to the number 1 spot. Dallas and Washington, nothing there. It's fighting for draft picks. And Dallas won that game 30-23 over Washington. That was the first game of the day. Then Detroit went to Minnesota and laid an egg, trying to get in the playoffs. They lost 23-10. Denver Broncos went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, they played, with a third-string quarterback, they played pretty good. I'll tell you that much. But Denver was
the defense played well. The defense played really, really well. I want to thank the offense for not showing up at all. Jesus God, that kid 1 yard.
That third string has been on the Chiefs for a while, so he's not new. I'm curious, have any of you guys heard what the TV ratings were? Because Charles Barkley was very critical of the NFL for putting on these Christmas games, and they weren't good matchups. Coincidentally, they could have been. When the NFL made the matchups, they were great matchups, but as the season unfolded, the games, for the most part, were meaningless. Even the Lion game, the Lions are basically out of it. Chiefs, Broncos, it was meaningless.
Basically
etc. But I'm curious how the NBA, who put on 5 great games, one after the other, how the ratings fared against the NFL.
It's Netflix. I don't know if we'll really get the same kind of report that we would get from the network. So I can't believe it's going to be all that great, quite frankly. But and I don't like the Netflix production, quite frankly. I don't think it's up to snuff and too much. They're tying into WWE and all. I don't need all that. Just give me football.
Let me tell you about Netflix, what drives me crazy. If you stop the game for 1 second, you don't leave the TV running or whatever, and then you want to hit resume play and get it live, you have a battle on your hands to get to the game live because it picks up from when you went off, and that may have been 10 minutes ago, and it drives me crazy. I don't know whether you guys experience that.
Yes, very much so.
Very annoying.
I think the situation here is the ratings would have been a lot better had these supposedly marquee teams like the Lions, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Chiefs, had they been better this year. Had they been a lot better this year, I think they probably would have really challenged the NBA games, Christmas games, because they just weren't good. Teams obviously no Patrick Mahomes, no show. Vikings don't really have a quarterback right now. The Lions, unfortunately, they're in the pickle they're in right now, and of course the Cowboys and Commanders. No Jaden Daniels, no Cowboys. They're all out of 4 of those teams are out of the playoff picture, and 5 of those teams of those 6 games, and the Chargers played as well. Yesterday, the Chargers that was the best game of all the games.
That game, if we're going to discuss, was really an intriguing game. I hate to say that a team beats themselves, but the Chargers, some of those plays, first and goal, and Justin Herbert hits the receiver in the hands, and the ball pops in the air and gets intercepted at the goal line. Chargers kicker, they have a great kicker, but he misses a chip shot, field goals, and misses an extra point. There's your 4 points there. That was a difference maker, and so many mistakes. Good morning, Sonja. Good to see you again.
Thanks for not showing up as well.
Good morning.
And we have him coming on here, Sonja.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see everyone. Good morning. Happy final Sunday of the year.
Yeah.
Same to you.
Yeah, it's one funny final Sunday of the year for me watching any notable football. Anyway,
meaningless, by the way, Thursday, because the Packers lost last night. The Lions would be still alive if they won that game.
It is what it is. What can
I
say? It is what it is. But on the Houston Texans and the LA Chargers, I mean, yeah, you can say that they shot themselves in the foot, but guess who helped them shoot themselves in the foot? Houston. So, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, CJ Stroud threw 2 interceptions, so they had opportunities. So, I mean, yes. Yeah, they had opportunities.
You could possibly say that if Houston would have lost that game, they would have shot themselves in the foot for throwing those 2 interceptions. But one was the same thing that happened to Herbert on the goal line. It was a tipped pass. But the other one
the other one was just a great bad interception. Yeah.
Bad throw. Really just real bad throw. But yeah, it was a very entertaining game. I figured Houston was going to win this game. That defense is just all over the place.
It's terrible. You better max protect. I don't want to see this team in the playoffs. I can tell you right now. Because
well, Houston took it to them with touchdowns on their first 2 possessions, and you give Houston that type of lead with their defense, then they get to dig in. Then it's a mountain you have to climb.
Yeah.
They did a heck of a job in that game. At the defense, the offense. Not so much, but they did a good job in the first quarter, and that's all they needed to do. So then we get to the good old Baltimore Ravens Green Bay Packers game, where Baltimore just lambasted Green Bay 41-24. Derrick Henry, that dude. That's the Derrick Henry I want to see on a Ravens. I want to see that guy. If it takes Lamar Jackson to be out the game so he can be Derrick Henry, then Lamar sit down for a while, because obviously John Harbaugh doesn't have any faith in it.
He will sit down, so you don't have to worry about him. How many times is he missing big games? Got back spasms? Lamar Jackson doesn't play in a game that means everything to this team staying alive in the playoffs. He doesn't find a way to get on the field.
You don't know how he's feeling, Keith. Come on. Lamar Jackson's a competitor, 2-time MVP. Could have been a 3-time MVP. He's a great player. Come on.
Yesterday morning, I heard some stuff. I went and did some research on some articles out of Baltimore. They are sick and tired of Lamar Jackson sitting out with a cold, with the flu, with a bad back, when other players would have been playing and other guys on that team are going out and playing. Harbaugh's tired of him. And from what I understand from everything I read yesterday, and I must have read 10 different articles, they're going to make a decision at the end of the year. And either Harbaugh's gone or the quarterback's gone. And they cannot coexist any longer.
Well, my Jets have enough first-round draft choices. I'm willing to get on the phone.
You think Tom Brady sits out back spasms yesterday? No freaking way. I know I keep going back to the same guy, but you got to compare these guys to the real competitors. The real competitors don't miss as many games when they're hurt, not injured. There's a big difference between hurt and injured, and he doesn't play.
We don't hear that about Joe Burrow, but so why are we hearing it about Lamar Jackson?
I heard
Joe Burrow's injuries actually legitimate, either breaks, tears, or something that he can't play with. You can't come out in a wheelchair and roll around and throw a pass 40 yards down the field. And look. I am the biggest Lamar Jackson supporter, and I heard some things that Chris Broussard on ESPN or whatever, or Fox, say that the guy that wrote that article is legitimate.
Yep.
And he's been around for like 25, 30 years or so with Baltimore, and has some incredible sources, supposedly. Great. But with that said, they say some things that Chris Broussard also, that I agree with him, that makes sense. I mean, if you're not if you're getting injuries like this, you're not practicing or going into the weight room. There's things that you can do. Like you said, Tom Brady was not a crybaby. Tom Brady with the Big 12, his thing, he after he got hurt, that knee injury, man, he did a Michael Jordan, man. Michael Jordan with the Jordan rules. I mean, that's the thing. Great players figure out a way to continue and be even better than what they are. Kobe Bryant. It's just you can't with the black mamba mentality. You just can't just go off your talent. That's what he was saying. That he's just playing. It's only so far you can play off your talent. Only so far you can just play off your talent. You got to figure out a way to expound and be even better when the crap hits the fan. And it ain't crap what I'm saying. And so I would just say that this is a situation, and I agree also with Chris Broussard that they're not going to get rid of the quarterback. They're going to keep the quarterback. If one has to go, John Harbaugh is probably going to be the one to leave.
I agree.
I think we're looking at the end of like a shocking era here to even think that either one of them would not be in Baltimore. It's literally just unfathomable to think about the end of either one of them. And like you guys are saying, they're not going to get rid of the quarterback. We know the power the quarterback has and has had throughout the game with several different teams. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers. And this is just a similar situation, but in Baltimore. But it's still just unthinkable that the legacy that Harbaugh has had with the Ravens, that either one of them would be gone. That's just my opinion about that.
By the way, Billy Pulver, he's the crybaby. So tired to see John Harbaugh crying on the sideline about every call. Great coach. Great coach.
Let's put into perspective what Derrick Henry did last night. He ran for 216 yards, 4 touchdowns. He moved past. Who did he move past?
Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett, and on a rushing total record. So and then John Harbaugh. After the game, when they asked him about his performance, he says, "It's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen." Well, yeah, because you don't hardly ever run them, dummy.
Yeah.
Well, series last week.
Yeah, so exactly. He's moved past Tony Dorsett with 12,892 yards in 10th place. So not only that, he's got 7 200-yard games. He's moved past O.J. Simpson and Adrian Peterson for that many in NFL history with 7 200-yard games. And he's also, 30? He's got 122 career rushing TDs, and he's just moved ahead of Adrian Peterson with that. And that being said, he's 31 years old. He's got 287 carries, 1,469 yards. He's 3rd place right now in the league, and he's got 16 TDs. He's 2nd place in that, and he's averaging 5.1 yards a clip at 31. So kudos to you, Derrick Henry. Again, they weren't afraid to give him 36 carries in the game, 200 yards, 216 yards, 6.0 a clip. So yeah, they need to do that. And what they need the Steelers to lose so that they can face off the last game for the rights of the AFC North.
Yeah, guys, I think of this fact that a couple of years ago when Derrick What? A couple of years ago when Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley Okay, you can talk, Sonja. I'll turn it over to you.
No, I think she's lagging.
She's lagging a little bit, yeah. That's why she keeps popping in.
A couple of years ago when Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry were free agents, consider this. You could have signed them both for less than what an elite wide receiver was getting. Could you imagine the team was creative? Because I know I would have done it. I would have signed them both. Can you imagine having them both in your backfield now, as opposed to just one big name wide receiver? It's insane. Now we see the value of running backs. It's criminal that they get paid so much less than other positions. But I think what goes around comes around, or whatever, and that's going to change in the coming years.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to have both of those running backs on your team. There's going to be an ego problem pretty soon, with that whole situation. I know it's a team sport, but
they don't have
2 of the greatest running backs on the NFL right now. You don't know that until they're put together. That's the point. So I just think, and they're both probably the 2 best running backs in the league right now. Well, over the last couple of years, 3 or 4 years. So,
well, Sonja has that problem in Carolina, and it's a good problem to have with the running back situation.
Mm-hmm. She does.
Running backs having to split the time.
I don't think they expected that situation to be what it is. And that's a nice surprise for them. Even though I knew better, I just think, but it was a nice surprise for them.
Yeah, because Dotto was a dog in Dallas. I don't even know why people thought that wasn't going to work out.
Over time, though,
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the fans were actually trying to consider, okay, who do you actually give the plays to? But I think in clutch situations, we've been able to utilize both of them because literally they've been a difference maker. Let's be clear, Dowdle has brought a fire to that offense that has not been there in a very long time. Talk about a difference maker. And I feel like in situations where Dowdle has had to come out because, we've seen him play through injuries like a lot of players this time of the season, but he's had some injuries early on that they've had to utilize Hubbard just in a couple of situations. And then there was times that both of them, I don't know how they made these plays. Both of them were out there at similar times. So I didn't even know that was possible, but Carolina's finding ways to get it done. And I think we should actually keep both of them, at least as long as they're healthy. We know the shelf life on running backs is short as is. And as long as both of them can be utilized to the advantage of the Panthers, I say keep them, go for it. They're not competitive at all.
Mm-hmm. To Danny's comment, it's
not against
1970
each other.
Like a totally different world to 1972 in the NFL.
Exactly.
Bob Greasy would throw the ball 7 times a game sometimes.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Though they were great players and great teams too.
Yeah, they were great players.
That's going to work today. And the 2 guys that Carolina has, and I think that works. And I think the fact, and James and Sonja both pointed out, this happened kind of by accident, right? Well, happy accident. But over time, it becomes a problem because one or both of those guys' ego gets bigger, and now there's only one football, and it becomes a problem down the road. Mm-hmm. Not now. Mm-hmm. Take advantage of it now.
And thank you for Danny for stating the obvious.
Yeah, I agree.
But they've been good running backs the majority of the season. So it is what it is. Like I said, that'll get corrected over the offseason. So we're going to go into the rest of today's schedule with the NFL. And I kind of want to start with you, Keith, and your team, the New England Patriots. You're going on to take on Jack's New York Jets in New Jersey. How you feel about this game?
I feel really good. I would have felt much better about winning these next 2 games if actually the Chargers had won last night and had a chance at the AFC West, because right now the Patriots have virtually 0 chance of getting the bye because the Chargers have no reason to try to beat the Broncos next week. So I'm not really excited about that. But I think this team wants to go in with a little bit of momentum. I think the loss to the Buffalo probably, again, losses aren't great, but sometimes they come at opportune times. And this team is going to want to be building some momentum. That's a real thing, Jack.
Danny's on one this morning.
Danny's
Sometimes it's better not to have all this so-called momentum. It's better, to take a little step back and just reset because your position is secure, like the Patriots going into the playoffs.
No, they'll win today. They're not going to lose to the Jets. They hardly ever lose to the Jets, even when the Jets are good. So this should be an easy win. Next week, we're going to play.
Damn. We got to say that, Jack.
Today may be the only day I really solidly wish that the Patriots would fall today. I just wish they would.
Well, Sonja, the Patriots do have 5 starters
so sick
out.
of them.
And they can't be overly motivated. But if you're a Jets fan, which I am, you don't mind losing that much. I hate to say it because of the draft position. I mean, let's say the Jets upset the Patriots today. What's it going to mean? I mean, the Jets have 3 wins on the season. They can max out at 5 wins. What are they going to be, 4-13? If they win today, they're going to lose next week to Buffalo in all probability. So, and it's, the draft position, basically. That's what we're looking at. I mean, that's what makes the game we're going to talk about later, the Raider-Giant game, intriguing.
Sounds like
they're going to be in position for the number 1 pick, whoever loses.
The Tank Bowl, yes. That's the Tank Bowl.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the draft maybe a little later, time permitting, but Patriots should win on talent alone. Are they really going to lose to, Brandon Cook? I mean, come on.
Those 5 injuries matter somewhere. They're not going to matter today.
This is the game that the Jets can hide their tanking. They can look like they're just the worst team. They're the bad team. You can hide. Come on, Jack.
No. If the
Jet
defense shows up, they're capable of keeping New England in check. Not enough to quite win the game, but not to let it get out of hand. But Patriots should win.
You are very smart, man.
No moral victories, Jack.
Jack, you are a very intelligent man. Why do you keep limiting your words to if? You always say if.
I don't want it. The NFL crazy upset take place. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy at this point in the year because the game. The Patriots can't be up for this game. There's no bulletin board material. Nothing to motivate them.
Last week, you said the same thing last week. I said that Mike Vrabel will have this team ready to play every single week. He will.
Well, that was a big game against the Ravens. That was a big game.
You told me last week
a big game.
You told me last week they wouldn't be motivated for that game. And I told you you're missing the whole point of what Mike Vrabel's brought to that organization.
He's a hater.
You're still missing. He hates Mike Vrabel. I don't know what.
How am I a hater? New England should win the game, something like 30-13, but it's not crazy.
Motivatedly.
The Jets, keep the score down, keep it very competitive. If their defense shows up,
Stop saying
have a hard time scoring.
If
your defense is not going to show up because they went to Indianapolis and Dallas.
So Jack, what you're saying is the Jets are going to lose the game.
New England 30, the Jets 13, but I think it'll be a case of New England pulling away at the end. I think it is going to be a close game most of the way, and then New England pulls ahead at the end and wins with room to spare.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, okay.
40-3.
Right.
You don't even have to ask me any questions.
This is his last straight up guys. It's literally like he has 2 weeks. Just let him have it. It's 2 weeks left before they go on to the draft. This is like a repeat record at this point with Jack. He's holding on to like literally a thread at this point. And I mean a spider web of a thread. That's even thinner than a thread. That's what he's holding on.
Well, this is worse than I thought. I thought the Jets would go 7-10 this year. So this year's been a lot worse.
Well,
I thought they'd have a losing record, but not to this point. They've been worse.
That's a fan in you, Jack. Believe me,
they've been worse than I thought.
Yeah, that's a fan in you, Jack. And I since James said go ahead and just go
not 43.
I'm going to do the same thing and say, yeah, I think New England's got this game all the way. What sayest you, Sonja? He's really on a delay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I feel like, as much as I don't really care for the Pats, they're going to they probably will put up 40. Let's be clear. They started out the season that way against my Panthers. And the Jets are definitely not on the level of the Panthers at all, even back then. They might put up 48 points. I think it's going to be 48 to probably 3.
I mean, the Jets could go through a cataclysm of things that went wrong this year. I mean, not that anybody expected the Jets to be winning that division even finish.
I'm going to jump on another device, guys, because I'm still lagging really bad. I'll be right back. I'm going to jump on another device.
All right. So the next game that we'll have, because we beat that one to death. Let's see here. Let's go with the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis has already been eliminated.
Can't we pick the Carolina game while Sonja's gone? Because she just picked the Patriots, and I feel bad about my pick now. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to hijack.
You're good. So, well, hey, I was going to do that with you on there and her on there just to see her reaction. This is supposed to be made for podcast. Anyway, Jacksonville Jaguars going to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Colts already been eliminated. They got Jacksonville by 5.5. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I just don't. Jacksonville's going to be deflated. I don't even know if they're going to play sauce now. They don't need to.
You mean Indianapolis is going to be deflated? You just said
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Indianapolis is going to be.
Yeah,
I agree. I think this Jacksonville needs this win to stave off the Texans, and I think they get it. Listen, none of us have been really. Maybe in more recent weeks, but most weeks, none of us have really given Jacksonville the respect that they deserve. And they're going and winning on the road. James,
I told
you, I believe if they beat Denver, I believe. Okay.
I said the same thing, and I said the same thing. I said that if they went to Denver, I cannot put them down anymore. Or the quarterback. They went to win one of the toughest places to win in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. They finally got our respect. That's what I meant. Yeah.
So I do think they'll beat the Colts handily today. Colts nothing to play for. I don't even know that I would risk Phillip Rivers later years in life in this game. You may not see him for long. I'm not sure what their plan is, but with them eliminated, I don't see a point in playing Phillip Rivers at all. So,
well, I'm going to tell you what they're going to do to Colts a lot. They're going to run the ball a lot because if you notice, Jonathan Taylor, who seems to have the rushing title locked up, he's fallen behind James Cook for the rushing title. And if the Colts are fond of Jonathan Taylor, they're going to want him to win the rushing title, meaning, they're going to run a lot. And maybe the offensive line is going to respond, and that's going to be their game plan. And if that's their game plan, it might keep the score down a little bit, but no team has fallen apart the way the Colts have this year. I mean, they were supposed to be Super Bowl bound. The reason they gave up 2 number ones and Adonai Mitchell for Sauce Gardner was because they were buying all in for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Man, and if the wheels come off and now they're eliminated from the playoffs. If I told you at the time of the Gardner deal, they'd be eliminated from the playoffs with 2 games to go, that would have been crazy. No one would have believed that for a moment. And so Jacksonville should win the game. They have everything going for them now, and the Colts don't.
Yeah, I don't think Bruce plays.
He's not going to play next year.
If he wants to carry a clipboard and be there for an emergency, well, that's fine. But he can't be your starter.
Mm-hmm. No way in heck.
It was an emergency situation for Phillip Rivers to come.
Wait 1 second. What are they going to go back to next year? It's conceivable if Phillip Rivers plays well these next couple of games, it's conceivable he'll be back next year. And it's
Jackie is not going to be a starting quarterback.
But it's not. Look at what the alternatives are. They still have Anthony Richardson under contract. You can't count on Anthony Richardson. Maybe he'll finally put it together, but you can't count on him. And to re-sign Daniel Jones for more than 1 year, Daniel Jones, can you really count on him, especially coming off the injury? I mean, maybe you look towards a guy like Malik Willis, who's going to be a free agent, but he's a wild card. You're not sure what he's going to give you. Maybe Malik Willis, he was great last night, but maybe Malik Willis is going to be a good starting quarterback in the league, or maybe it's all an illusion. We don't know.
They'll pay Daniel Jones. They have no choice.
Daniel Jones is not good. They do have a choice.
He wasn't good.
He was good. What are you talking about?
And he blamed out. He's had 6 years in the league. 4.5 of them haven't been successful.
Sam Darnold.
Exactly. You pick and choose who you want to see flame out.
Sam Darnold had a great year.
You know the reason why, Jack. You know the reason why Indianapolis is going the direction they are right now because of Daniel Jones.
He got hurt.
Daniel Jones might not be the best passer in the league, but he has wheels, and that it was the same formula that Philadelphia used last year with Saquon Barkley and Hurts. Hurts went out there and was running the ball. He passed when he needed to, but they had run plays, and that's what made Saquon effective. It's the same thing that Indianapolis is doing. The coach comes from the same tree.
Mhm.
So he knows what's going on.
Jonathan Taylor carried that
Philip
offense
Rivers is going
early
to
in
sit
the
back
year.
there and be a
Yes, but he only carried the offense because it was a threat of the quarterback run. Same thing with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. It was the RPO is a big deal in the NFL now, and so it makes. But you can only do it when you have somebody at the
Let me
quarterback
ask you this.
position
Would you
that's
let Daniel
mobile.
Jones- So would you commit to Daniel Jones if you're Indianapolis beyond 1 year?
100%.
Give him good quarterback money beyond 1 year. Would you commit to Daniel Jones for that?
100%.
Yes.
40 million a year,
Mhm.
but yes.
Because you have to look at the situation. Who else you're going to get? Who are you going to get in the free agency? There's no quarterback that's coming out of the draft that's like that, and you're not going to be available to pick the biggest. I mean the top pick with Mendoza. You're not going to be available for that. So what are you going to do? I mean, and I'm going to say this also. You still have a quarterback in the building that you can try to work with. I mean, I know people might say Anthony Richardson is done. I don't think he's done. I think you picked him number 4th overall. It's like having Deshaun Watson in the building. I mean, but I think they should give Anthony Richardson another try. He's in the building on the rookie record. On the rookie contract. You got to try to.
If you find Daniel Jones, you then committed to Daniel Jones. So how you
Keep both. One is still on a rookie contract, is what I'm saying. You still try to figure out if he can play.
If Daniel Jones, you could give him a 1-year deal at reasonable money, yeah, I would bring him back as the starter. I would. 1-year deal, let him prove himself, and then if he has a really good year next year, then I'll go beyond that. I'll look towards a multi-year deal. But otherwise, you could bring in Malik Willis. You have him and Anthony Richardson, and see between the two of them how it works out going forward. Daniel Jones has not accomplished anything substantial in the league. His best play was early in the year. They won a few games. The Colts.
Danny just said everything that was true. Oh my God!
The last month shows you how valuable Daniel Jones is to this team, and how and you're right about Jonathan Taylor.
He had before he got injured. He wasn't playing well. Suddenly, he wasn't playing well.
Jones from
Not true. Not true. He did. I'm sorry, Keith. He had a fibula break. I mean, not break, but like a fracture.
All right. We give Daniel Jones a break, but we get on Lamar Jackson. Come on.
No. I mean, look. It's a different thing when you have a player that's been playing at an MVP level, but hasn't expounded upon what he's done. Up to that point. We're talking about a guy, Daniel Jones, that wasn't great in New York, but found new life in Indianapolis. Things were working for him. No one's saying Daniel Jones was the next second coming of Lamar Jackson. We're saying that it was working. What Danny said, the evidence showed that it was working with that running back, with those receivers, with that offensive line. It was working. Things started to fall off when he got hurt. And then when he finally got hurt to where he couldn't play anymore, because again, he got hurt, he couldn't run anymore, but he could still throw the ball. But that changed the game, because that's what allowed freedom for Jonathan Taylor to be who he is. But when you put 8 in the box because you know the quarterback can't run anywhere, you know you can stop the running game, so you can stop their offense altogether. That's just what they're saying. That's all they're saying.
Same formula. Again, it's the same formula that Philadelphia used last year. Same formula. Same formula that Baltimore always uses. It's the same formula. So when you lose that type of a quarterback, that's what happens. Phillip Rivers is not going to be out there running. No. Maybe you throw a donut out there, he might.
Oh, give me for that donut.
Y'all gonna leave
Phil Up Rivers is what his name is.
Right.
Rolling on
So
the river.
is anybody picking Indianapolis in this game?
No.
I got the Jagoffs.
Jaguars, Lord. And Robbie would be so proud for you to say that. All right. So yeah, we got enough time. Seattle is going to Carolina to play the Panthers.
Really? Enough time.
Seattle, really. Seattle is favored by a touchdown.
That's it.
I'm giving it to Sonja because I like to see Keith's reaction.
I hate to see hers to mine, actually. She was so kind to the Patriots.
I was truthful. So now
Like,
that I have a better connection and there's no lag, yeah, we got time because I still got church whatever. Like, no, I need a whole show. No, actually, I'm pretty realistic about this one. I'm very nervous. Let me be clear. I think a touchdown is kind of like the analyst and everybody kind of taking note that Carolina has, in fact, had some very good games, that they were underdogs. I don't want people to over complicate the situation by saying that, Carolina is favored. I appreciate all the positivity. Thanks, Paul. But you just don't know. You don't know which Panthers team you're going to get. I'm going to be honest about that as a Panthers fan. There were some games that we should have won that we did not win. Some that I won't, for respect reasons. There's 2 games for a fact we should have won that we did not win, that I will say. But sitting on this side of the season, I know at the beginning of the season, I'm always going to hype up the Panthers. I don't care if it's week 18 and we haven't won but one game, as witnessed 2 years ago when we only won 2. Every week I was still coming on here. Jack and Keith will tell you that was before I met you JTrain. Panthers are it every single week, and we had only won like one all the way through the whole season, and then finally won another one, I think, courtesy of the Falcons. And so now, sitting on this side of the team, I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised that the Panthers are in playoff talk. I felt like we'd have a much better season. I did not say we would go to the playoffs. I said we'd be competitive, but here we are. We are in the driver's seat. I feel that that's cute. Thanks. I feel that with today's win, I think that the entire NFL would take note if we won today. However, there has been times we've seen Sam Darnold throw a ton of interceptions. And so I think that he's coming home today. And this is the first time that this meeting is going to count. I'm hoping for a replay of the last time we were in this position against Seattle, which was the 2015 season with Russell Wilson. And I'm hoping to get it done at home, go ahead and claim the South, get the crown. And the answer is, especially with Denver making the playoffs for the first time since 2015, I'm hoping for the same for the Carolina Panthers. This is 10 years. Get ready to be tired of me if that.
Who are you picking to win this game, Sonja?
My Panthers.
Duh.
Always.
Duh,
My
Jack.
Panthers.
Come on.
Oh.
And I think a touchdown is generous. I think this may come down to a field goal. On all sincerity, if Bryce can manage the clock, I think JTrain, you and B and I talked about this Friday. That's what he did with the Rams. He literally ate up the entire third quarter, 13 minutes of possession. You don't want him to score, keep him off the field. I feel like if Bryce can stay composed and just stay on the field and manage this clock, we can get it done. I think it comes down to actually 3. I don't even think 7 is going to be. I think it's going to be the very last few seconds here.
What you got, Keith, before you go?
Well, I have great respect for Sonja's always backing her team, as she should. Mm-hmm. Seahawks have been very, very good on the road this year. Very good. I think they lost only to the Rams, maybe on the road. I think the Panthers. Well, I don't think this will impact the way they approach the game. They do know that their season is not on the line today. It's on the line next week. Seahawks have a lot more to play for today because they're out of the race for the number 1 seed if they lose today. I think the Seahawks win this game, but I think the Panthers will keep it close. But I like the Seahawks in a very, very tight game.
What you got, Jack?
Thank you for your kindness.
I disagree with Keith in this sense when he says it's not maybe as important a game for the Panthers as the Seahawks. If the Dolphins do upset, okay, the Buccaneers, this is big for the Panthers because they could win the division title. And if let's say that scenario unfolded, the Dolphins did beat the Buccaneers and the Panthers lost to Seattle. Now they got to go to Tampa Bay next week with the playoffs on the line. So it's big. You try to win it when you can. But with that said, it's even though we haven't gotten to that game yet, it's unlikely, even though it's possible, that the Dolphins beat the Buccaneers. It's really unlikely. Seattle's a better team. They should win the game today. But I could see the Panthers winning it. But let's say the Panthers did win the game. It's going to be a very tough game and an emotional game if the Panthers win today because they're going to be, they would have beaten one of the better teams in the NFL the way the Seahawks have performed this year. And then they got to follow it up by going to Tampa Bay with the division title on the line. That's tough sledding to get in the playoffs. It really is. I think Seattle wins today, and it doesn't matter in that case if Seattle wins what goes on with Tampa Bay because it all comes down to next week. And I think the players know that on Carolina, that it is going to come down to next weekend in all probability.
Rick, the producer, says it's time to slide there, Keith.
Yeah, we're going to run. We're going to run.
See you, Keith.
Good luck.
All right, Keith.
Oh, bye. See you, Keith.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good luck.
By the way, let me make a point.
I guess.
Hey, Keith,
Bye-bye.
see ya. James talks about receipts, and I just want to pull out another receipt. I said the Panthers were going to go 8-9 on the season. That's what I said. They're 8-7. They lose to Seattle. They're 8-8, and then next week, unfortunately, sorry, Sonja, they'll get a butt whipping next week if the division title is on the line. The Buccaneers, no way they lose at home to the Panthers. They put a butt whipping on the Panthers next week. The Panthers' best chance is today. Beat Seattle, and the Buccaneers have been reeling a little bit, and hope Miami beats Tampa Bay and you're in the playoffs, and congratulations. The next week would mean nothing at all.
Well, then that kind of like negates what you said when you said today is not important because we're trying to win today, so we don't have to worry about next week.
Playoff-wise.
Yeah.
If you think Tampa Bay could lose to Miami, then it's important. Yeah, of course. You get it over with.
Every game is important for us going forward.
Well, record-wise it is because you want to have, even for the Lions who are 8-8, you want to have a winning record. To me, it means something. 9-8 as opposed to 8-9. But
yeah, we're trying to playoffs.
Yeah, but listen, the Panthers in a great spot. But if you're a player, you know what time it is. Playoff situation. Do you lay it all on the line against Seattle and become emotionally drained? And let's say the Panthers win today. They have to come back, like I said, 1 week later with even stronger emotions, and that's hard to do.
Dan Canales said it best. We're not watching the clock today for the Miami and Tampa Bay game. We're just playing our game because that's no matter what. We don't want to be watching this game and take away from what we need to do today. We need to focus on what we have to do today and next week, no matter what happens on the other side with the other team.
That sounds good, but have you ever heard a coach in any sport say, "Oh, we're going to be watching the scoreboard to see what's going on while I get the tap"? They all lie. They all lie. James knows that.
Yes, but they want everyone's. That's that's the $1 million question. But I'm just gonna take advantage of the moment that I'm feeling now, in case this changes tonight or it changes next week. I'm just gonna enjoy the moment that I'm here now, and that my Panthers. It's so honest. It's so odd. You guys know how you have pictures, and sometimes your pictures come up in history on your phone or whatever. A year ago today, the Panthers were projected at the number 4/number 5 position for the draft. This year, we are way down. We are in the top 15 of power teams in the league right now. We're sitting at the number 4 seed
in the playoffs right now. I'm just going to enjoy the moment that we've gotten a hold of our season and that we've made great strides to get to where we are.
And things are looking better for next year too. It's on an upswing. So that's Carolina. It's on an upswing. Carolina's taking nice steps forward.
Yeah, that I will say this. I was in New Orleans last Sunday. Well, Sunday before last. I was in New Orleans. I was traveling last week as well. But they just cannot. They have to play all 4 quarters. That's what I saw. I saw it up close and personal. Went to the top of the 4th quarter with the lead. Should have won the game against New Orleans, as you say. And they lit up. They stopped playing all 4 quarters. And when you don't play all 4 quarters, you feel like it comes down to 1 or 2 plays that you may or may not have gotten the best of. If you play all 4 quarters, no matter who it is, you've given your best and the better team wins. You can't not play all.
So you're saying the Panthers should never lose to a team like the New Orleans Saints.
I wouldn't say that. I would say I was at that game and we had the lead at the 4th quarter. We should have won that game, and we did not play all 4 quarters, is what I'm saying. And then it came down to a play or 2 that was questionable. But had they played all 4 quarters, had they played the last half like they played the first half, I mean, y'all are laughing, but I'm being honest.
No.
I'm laughing at James.
No, and that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying, James. I'm not saying about the fact that I feel like we got cheated. I'm saying the Panthers didn't.
Take your L's. Take your L's. We just beat you once. We beat you twice.
There's a reason.
A garbage team beat you twice. We beat you twice. We beat you twice.
It doesn't matter.
It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
At the bottom.
But you got beat by a garbage team twice.
It doesn't matter.
Twice.
Where are y'all?
It does matter. Because now you're playing where you are now.
Nowhere. You have nothing to play for.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We beat you twice.
It's in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. You guys definitely shouldn't have won in Charlotte. Definitely. I don't know what happened then. But I will say what I saw. We did not. The Panthers assumed that the Saints were going to lose that game, and they did not play all 4 quarters. Everybody knows.
You can't say that. We grown men.
We're
grown teams. Hold on. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go. And I'll go.
But I didn't want to say that. You guys got a bad call. Tyler Shough went out there and pussyfooted around and sold a call that he got hit so bad that he needed to be taken out, and they cheated. The NFL came back out and said the call was a bad one with T-Max catch. Okay, I didn't want to talk about the reasons why. I'm trying to put it on the Panthers, that the Panthers should have played better, which is what you're saying, but you're so ready to say that we got beat by you guys that you're not even seeing the bigger picture. I'm giving you your props. I'm saying we didn't play the game all 4 quarters, but in all honesty, the league came out and said one of the biggest catches that we should have had would have do it. Just like NFL say across the board with Dez Bryant, with the Rams, with everybody else. It's NFL officiating. But at the end of the day, where are you and where am I?
Can I go now?
I was going.
All right. I don't know. I'm done. I'm finished. I'll let you go.
It's all yours.
All right. An L is an L, regardless of how you speak it or who you play. It's an L. You lost. You didn't do anything to lose the game. You got beat by a team that wanted it more than you did. It's what it is. You got to take that. You can't make excuses for it. You can't make any. I didn't make any excuses for the 10 losses we had. We lost. We lost all those games. But you lost both those games, and you're in a predicament that you're in right now because we beat you, and that's it. There's no this and that and this and that. You lost. Come on. You got to take that.
But if
and that's just what it is.
Quarters, what does that mean?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's an excuse. It's an excuse.
No.
It's an excuse. Yes, it's an excuse.
All 4 quarters. You're going to lose.
Everybody got to play 4 quarters. I mean, I've had plenty of games. But exactly. We didn't play all 4 quarters in a game. It doesn't matter. We lost. It's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's what I'm saying. We lost. The Panthers assumed that they were.
It doesn't matter, sis. Come on, take your L's. Take your L's.
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get
No, you're not. You're not.
Just say they
You're
did
not.
play.
You're talking out of both sides of your neck. You're talking out of both sides of your neck. Yes, you are.
If I tell you that the team assumed they were going to win because you guys had a worse record.
How you figure they assume anything?
They did.
How you know that? You can't do that. You're not there. They got beat.
I was there. I saw it.
You weren't in the first game? You wasn't at the first game?
Right. I said I don't know what happened. I'm talking about this last game.
Come on, man.
I literally said they did not play. I was there.
All right, I'm not going to – we got a lot of time here. We don't have a lot of time. I'm not going to waste it on that. But I'm going to tell you my prediction in a moment. I know, Jack, did you make your prediction already?
Yeah, I like Seattle to win today. Yeah, I was just talking what's at stake, basically. But just looking at it, normally I think it's going to be a close game. You know, something like 20-17, close game.
I think both teams have a lot to play for here. I think Carolina has a lot to play for because of the situation they're in. They know they got another team in Tampa Bay that needs to win also, but they don't want to depend on that. And I think they're going to play a very hard game at home against Seattle. I just think Seattle also was playing for the #1 spot, which they have. They want to try to keep that. So they're going to come in tough as well. And I think it's going to be a tight game as well, like you both said. I think Seattle is going to win by maybe 2 or 3 points, but I would not be surprised if Carolina wins this game. I will not be surprised because I think they played hard all year, regardless of whether wins or loss they had. You know, they've done a lot better than what they were last year. And I think I have to give kudos to them because I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. And so I think that they're going to be vying for the division title, and they may get it. They may get it. I think they may go down. I don't want to go talk ahead, but I think they may get it regardless. But I think I'm going to pick Seattle by maybe 2 or 3 points in this game.
Who you picking, B?
I'm going to pick Seattle too. I still pick Panthers to win the division because I think they can beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Jack, I know you're trying to hold on to your Super Bowl prediction
next week if the division title's on the line.
Not by that Tampa Bay team
today to beat Seattle and hope Miami wins. Get it over with today because if the doors open and they're going to Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield will rally those troops. It's going to be a butt whipping next week, something like 38-17.
Oh my God!
Next week, if the division title's on the line, I give the Panthers a shot today.
Your division title was on the line when they played the Panthers the first time, Jack. What happened?
They're futzing around.
They're so good. They should have been able to go down to the Panthers and beat them.
Buccaneers always win that division. I mean, Panthers
not this year.
Yeah, I give them credit. I like what I see from the Panthers moving forward. I really, McMillan has been an outstanding draft pick. Their running attack is great. Bryce Young is coming along well. J.C. Horn, great corner there. Their whole defense has been improving. I like what I see from this Panthers team. Just, next year, I think they're going to make some serious noise, perhaps.
The only problem I got with what you're saying, Jack, is that Tampa Bay has fallen off the past few games. And it wasn't just against Carolina. It's a lot of teams, man. They don't look good right now.
The Saints lost to the Saints at home.
One day ago, you would have told me that about the Baltimore Ravens. And if the Ravens have a shot next week and they're playing the Steelers, same scenario with the Ravens.
Don't compare Tampa Bay.
You just throw a shot calling a team the Aints. You call my team the Aints?
Who?
You call my team the Aints?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, what you said? They did what? By the what?
No, we're saying that the Saints had beaten Tampa Bay at.
I heard you say that, but
I said Tampa Bay has dropped 5 of their last 8.
Oh, last 8. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Tampa Bay has dropped like 5 of their last 8.
Oh, worse than that.
They're pretty bad.
Tampa Bay has been. They've lost so many close games, and they won close games early. They've been reeling, but I know the talent on that team. But listen, let's see what happens today. Maybe Miami shows up and plays a great game. And wouldn't it be that this would be bad news for the Panthers? Could you imagine Miami loses and then the Panthers lose a tight game to Seattle, knowing that they could have won the division today, and then they got to go to Tampa and regroup? mentally.
I think there's
you
going to
kinda
be
wonder.
more of a what happens if Miami wins against Tampa
Yep.
Bay. I just think that, but I mean, Seattle is out. They're a very good road team. That's one thing Seattle is, and that's the only reason why I don't think that Carolina will win this game. However, like I said, they will go into Tampa Bay and beat Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, Jack. I know you're trying to hold on to your Tampa Bay Super Bowl dream, because you picked them to go in the Super Bowl dream. They are not playing quality football right now, and it's like I see you see there's no what do you call it, momentum. But that momentum works two ways. It can be working for you to win. It can be working for you to lose. So you have to change that momentum. And I don't see Tampa Bay changing it right now. I'd be surprised if they beat Miami. So
I think the scariest thing is for me, I don't want to say scary, but it really is scary. It's literally unnerving. Is the Panthers win the division and we turn right back around and have to play Seattle in the first round of the.
if Seattle gets the number one spot,
yeah,
But Sonja,
if they still have it, we have to go to Seattle.
No. That would be that because Seattle, if they're number one, they're gonna have a bye.
Bye.
So so you're 4. You're gonna be, as a matter of fact, because you're a division leader, you're gonna have a team come to your place. You're gonna have a home game.
I saw somewhere somebody was talking about us going there. I was like, how? And they were supposed to have the bye. But
you will be playing. Let's see. You'll be playing
a tough team now. You probably either
You'll
be
be playing
49ers.
As it stands right
yeah,
now.
the 49ers are.
But Panthers are not going to the playoffs. So come on, let's move on.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is not going to
They're not going
playoffs.
to
You want to move on?
Come on.
Jack, you want to move on? We'll move on to Tampa Bay and the Dolphins. That'll be the next game we move to.
Sure.
So, Sonja, what you got?
Tampa Bay and the Dolphins at home. Tale of two Floridian teams. I'm going to go for Miami with the upset just because I've seen how Tampa has been playing as of late. And they're going to probably, like Jack is saying, the Panthers should not worry about today's game. I think that Tampa Bay is really trying to save up and muster their strength for next week. And so as a result, they're not going to take Miami as seriously. They're not going to remember that Miami knocked off the Bills earlier in the season, and they're going to just gaff them off. And Miami is one of those teams that has been sneaky good consistently throughout this season. Kind of similar to the Panthers. When you just count them out, that's when they show up the best. And I think this is one of those things that Miami is still trying to stay where they are, and they don't have, nothing regarding the NFC but to play devil's advocate. And I feel like Miami's going to get it done probably by a touchdown.
Yeah, but Sonja, the Buccaneers are playing for their season if the Panthers beat Seattle. They have a lot going. I mean, the Panthers can afford to lose this game against Seattle if they win next week in the playoffs. If Miami loses, their fate is out of their hands. They no longer control their own destiny. If the Panthers beat Seattle, the season's over. They can't afford to take them lightly, and especially the way they've been playing, they got to straighten out. I don't know how well you like Quinn Ewers, what you think of him as a starting quarterback. He struggled last week in his first start. I mean, the first half he wasn't bad, and then the wheels fell off completely. I mean, what's Miami playing for right now? And Sonja's right. They were good for a little while. They put some games together where they, pretty good for about 5 weeks or so. But the way they lost to the Bengals, I watched some of that game last week. They didn't look good at all, and they didn't seem to be putting out. And I got to feel that Tampa Bay gets straightened out today. Even though it's more important next week, they have to win at the very least, get a W one way or the other. And if they don't get a W, just hope Seattle wins. But they got to be they don't have to be scoreboard watching because it doesn't matter what, the Panthers do as long as Miami wins. They know they have to follow up next week, but the Panthers, they're going to be scoreboard watching a little more for sure. But whatever, I think the Buccaneers win this decisively, something like 32-12. They finally snap out of it. you know. But at some point, I kind of feel today will be it, but I'm not overly confident that they're going to snap out of it to that point.
2026.
Next week, I'm confident they snap out of it in front of their home crowd.
I thought one of the scenarios was if Seattle lost today and Tampa Bay lost today, that the Panthers would. I thought it was 3 ways we could clinch. I thought we clinched with our win and Tampa's loss today, just like we did, or if we swept them next week. So if they lost today and we won today, are we not automatically the division?
No.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Right. Yes. JTrain's right. It was 3 ways. It was sweep Tampa.
If they win today and Tampa loses today, it's over. Carolina is the division champ.
Tampa's win and Tampa loses. Yeah, it's over today.
Right.
But it's two ways.
It was 2 ways left. It was 3 if we had won the New Orleans game and Tampa had lost. But now
that's all hypothetical. That's backtracking. It doesn't.
No, but I'm saying there were 3 ways the Panthers. There was 3 chances for the Panthers to win. It wasn't just a one and done on one game like it has been in the past. So that's why I'm saying there's no way we would intentionally try to put it all on the line next week. We need them to lose today, and we need to win today.
So because you have a tiebreaker, you won one game against them. If you lose today, you still can get into the division by beating them next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the pressure is on Tampa Bay because they can't afford to lose. They can't afford to lose. They got their onus is on them because if they win out, they're in. Mm-hmm. You know, because of all the losses, they got to win today and they got to win tomorrow.
But Sonja, it's very simple. If the Panthers win next week at Tampa Bay, they win the division no matter what. It's that simple, regardless of what happens today. For the Buccaneers, the math seems pretty simple. They probably have to win the next 2 games. But as crazy as it is, the Buccaneers can lose today. But if the Panthers lose, they just have to win next week. And it's insane that the Buccaneers can go into that game conceivably with a 7-9 record and be playing for the division title. They wouldn't deserve to be in that spot, but
it's happened before.
You know, the Panthers went in 2014 at 7-8-1, Jack, and it was the division winners.
Yes, Seattle won their division
under
500. It's the luck of the draw. Look, on the Tom Brady, they won their division, the Buccaneers, with an 8-9 record. You know, it's the luck of the draw. But I'm going to tell you, that division is getting better. The Saints are getting, somewhat promising the way the season's coming along. The Falcons are finally maybe going to have a little bit of a breakthrough and stop having these mediocre seasons and maybe have a 10-7 season.
I don't know.
The Panthers, I think, are on a nice upswing. And maybe the Buccaneers will be the team that is going to slip in a couple of years. Maybe though, but the Buccaneers are always relevant. That division might turn out to be like the Bear, Lion, Packer, Viking division in a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't see what we don't even have enough time to talk about the Falcons and all this stuff they got going. I will agree with New Orleans. The best thing they could have done was gotten Shuck there. If they had Shuck all their games, they probably would be the division leaders right now.
No,
yes, they would. Yes, they would. With Tyler Shuck, how many games have they lost with Tyler Shuck?
3. He's 4 and he's 4-3.
See what I'm saying?
But I gotta kind of agree with Jack because the games that Tyler Shuck has played, are a little bit. The season got a little bit easier. In comparison to the beginning of the season where it was a little brutal. 49ers, Bills, Seattle. It was a brutal first half of the season. So I don't know for sure if he'd won a lot of those games, especially for a rookie coming in and not knowing what to do right off the bat. But he's a little seasoned, having 7 years in.
He's shown promise. He's shown promise for sure.
So James, who you got for the Tampa Bay Miami game?
I got Tampa Bay winning this only because the pressure's on them. I just think that they got to win and it's going to come down to Carolina and Tampa Bay in the final game.
I got Tampa Bay winning this game too, but not. They give them 6 points. I'm not. They're not gonna win this game by 6 points. Sorry, Jack. They're not gonna do it, but they're gonna win the game. And yeah, actually, Sonja, for your point of emphasis, I'd probably rather have Tampa Bay win this game, so that they're kind of floating a little bit when they get to the home. Because if they lose this game, their backs are gonna be against the wall. It's like trying to capture a cat that's cornered. So you don't want to, no pun intended,
Literally a cat.
Panthers. Yeah. So you don't want Tampa Bay in that position. So you want them to be a little bit. Yeah. You'd want Tampa Bay to win this game so that they're a little bit on that little cloud there. These are the scenarios for the Panthers, by the way. First, Carolina would have to win their game against Seattle. Then they would have to need the Buccaneers to lose or tie against the Miami Dolphins. So you'd have to win your
I don't want to get my ties. That's always long shots. I mean, come on, bro.
That's the scenario, Jack. That is the scenario, Jack. I'm just reading the scenarios. Or if the Panthers tie against the Seahawks, they would need a Buccaneers loss to the Dolphins to clinch the division. Otherwise, the division goes into the week 18, which I feel that's what's going to happen. And I still think that Carolina's going to beat them. So either way, yeah. But I got Tampa winning this. So
monkey. So we all know we got seven more games to cover in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And guys, I have to hop off. It's been real. No. I've got to go to church. I hope everybody has a great holiday season, and I'll be joining you guys again probably next week, the first Sunday.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Sonja.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Happy New Year's.
Thanks for having me.
Yep,
for sure.
Have a
good one.
Have good church.
Thank you. You got to move me.
Oh, I got to move you.
I can't do it here.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, we normally got more games to cover. I've been kind of milking.
Well, the games that we're going to cover are going to be main games. So, because Pittsburgh Pittsburgh is a game that might mean something. But Arizona and Cincinnati, who you got, Jack, real quick for that one?
Oh, man, Arizona and Cincinnati. I mean, you got to go with Cincinnati there. Arizona is like burned out in there. You're eyeing them with the draft, their quarterback situation. We've talked about teams that could trade up. Trey McBride, the Arizona tight end, I mean, he's had a phenomenal year there, and he slipped under the radar because of how bad Arizona's been. Marvin Harrison is back. I'm waiting for him to be a breakout star, and it's been disappointing the first couple of years. Bengals should win big. I want to see Joe Burrow's level of enthusiasm, him be happy, light it up. But I think it's going to be somewhat high scoring, something like 33-23. Bengals.
Who you got, James?
The Bengals, man. I pretty much everything Jack said, I agree with. The Bengals right now, I'm not the Bengals, but the Cards have been a disappointment, as well as the Bengals too. But yeah, I just think that there's enough offense there to beat up on the Cards. So maybe 2013, 24-13.
Yeah, I got Cincinnati beating the Cards too, and I'm taking the points because 7-7 is, I think, too small. Cardinals just ain't. Dang, they disappointed me this year. I thought they were going to be good, but God. Anyway, all right. How about the New York Giants at the Raiders? Who you got, Jack?
Yeah, wow, interesting game. The Giants have an interim coach. An interim coaches always want to win because they always have this fleeting hope that they'll become the full-time coach. And if the Giants go win their last two games, there's always a possibility they hang on to their job. With that said, I like Max Crosby's shut down by the Raiders, but I'm going to go with the Raiders in this game. I can't see Pete Carroll kind of tanking it and holding back, thinking about the number one draft choice. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I think the Raiders have some nice individual pieces, like Gentry, so on. I'm waiting for him to have a big game, running the ball. And, we'll see. Listen, I don't give a darn who wins the game. They're both bad, okay? I'm not gonna. You can criticize me all you want. I got to make a pick. I'll go with the Raiders, 28-17. Is Jackson Dart overrated? That question might start coming up.
Well, he got an opportunity to win here because Brock Bowers is on IR too. So it's a tank. It's a tank. And Max Crosby. It's a tank bowl right now. And I think right now these guys, if you're telling me that they're not trying to tank, and because they're both 2-13. And so somebody's got to win this game. And I think it's going to be the Giants. I think the Giants are going to win. I think they're going to let Jackson Dart do his thing with whatever he has out there. And what better team to do it against than one of the worst defenses in the league. And I think they go up there and upset the Raiders at home.
Watching this game,
everybody, and they should, all parties involved should be upset, and so where they come to, and so yeah, I think.
Listen, like James, Raiders, right? The remark just made, Raiders aren't tanking. They nearly beat Houston. That shows that they're playing till the end at least. Yes,
but I'm saying, taking down their players like Max Crosby, they just decided to take him down. He's on. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue. Giants could easily win the game. Anyone could win this game.
Yes, and flip a coin. Again, it's probably going to be 3-2. A field goal and a safety. So I got New York.
3-1 homer and a 2-1 single. Anyway, next team that we have is the Pittsburgh Steelers at Cleveland. Steelers.
Who'd you pick?
I picked the Giants. I mean,
okay,
whatever.
Yeah,
I'm in the same line. I don't care, but I picked the Giants. Because I'm giving a shout out to Fern. That's why. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Pittsburgh obviously needs to keep winning because they have a big matchup against Baltimore in the last game. So they need to keep winning. Who you got, Jack?
It's not a big matchup against Baltimore if the Steelers win today. It's basically meaningless for the Steelers. Mm-hmm. They better win today. This is their best chance of winning the division. People think they have a cushion. They lose today, even though the game will be in Pittsburgh next week against the Ravens. Don't open the door for the Ravens, because if the Ravens have finally put it all together, they're a Super Bowl threat to win the Super Bowl. They are a legitimate threat, something the Steelers aren't. So they had better get it done today against Cleveland. They're playing a rookie quarterback, even though a charismatic one in Shedeur Sanders. But something tells me the Browns are going to come to play. And the game being in Cleveland as well, Shedeur Sanders is going to be psyched to do all he can. Myles Garrett going for the sack record, the dog pound, all that's at stake, the rivalry, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I'm going with Cleveland on the upset today. I'm going with them to upset the Steelers. Yeah, 20-10, not a high-scoring game. Steelers offense isn't high-powered, guys, so they're not going to put a lot of points on the board, I don't think. I'd go with the upset.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Lightning is about to strike because this is my upset special. This is where I think Cleveland comes into play. There's too many things at stake here. I just think that Myles Garrett, not only is he looking for the sack record, he's never sacked Aaron Rodgers. So I think there's motivation there for him to get not only maybe one sack, but maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sacks. Who knows? Because Aaron Rodgers is not the guy to be running, around and scrambling anymore. So he might be a little bit of a sitting duck there for a guy that's hunting for a record. And I like their defense altogether. I just think I don't know if Denzel Ward is back yet. I don't know. Maybe he's not back. That might hurt them a little bit. But what's going to really hurt the Steelers is nobody's really talking about it. Is not having DK Metcalf. He's out of the game. He's out of this game. He's out of the next game. So that may come back to hurt them.
That's a great point, James, that I neglected to mention. Great point.
Yes, he's not the only receiver out either. Kelvin Austin is out as well.
Not a good thing. And so they got to revamp and figure out what they can do against a pretty scary defense. And this going into next week. The reason why I'm picking also Cleveland, because I'm a little bit of bias here. I want the Ravens to have an opportunity to get to the playoffs because I picked them to win the Super Bowl. So I still want them to get I still want them to get there. Yes, I'm pulling the Jack. Yes, I still want them to get there. Jack did too. He picked them to get to the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah,
But
Super Bowl, yeah.
yes, but with that said, it can happen if the Steelers win today. So the opportunity is there. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to let you go. And I think I'm going to pick the Cleveland, I'm about to say Cavaliers, the Cleveland Browns to win this game, but a very close game.
I want to point something out to Brian, which he might not realize. Maybe he does, maybe you don't. Aaron Rodgers, 1 year he won a Super Bowl with the Packers long ago, obviously. That Packer team struggled the same way this Raven team is and the Buccaneers have. And at the end, they got in the playoffs with something like a 9-7 record. They it didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs. They weren't playing well. But once they were in, look out. And that's what I'm talking about, with the Ravens, even more so than the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they've been losing a lot, but the Ravens have been struggling. So like I said, and James is a believer, don't allow them to go in the playoffs, especially Lamar Jackson comes back. He's ready to play and everything's in place. It'll all be irrelevant, the struggles during the regular season. But if Pittsburgh wins today, it's all over. It's all over for the Ravens.
That's a great history lesson there, Jack. But I'm not one that believes in a lot of history in the NFL because it's destined to change all the time. So you have new history. Every day's a new game. It's like any given Sunday. But the also thing about Cleveland, too, just remember Quentin Junkins is out, too, the running back. He got a bad injury that happened to him. So, I mean, with that being said, I like the defense a lot more than I like Pittsburgh's defense for Cleveland. And I think they're going to get it done. I'm also picking Cleveland in the upset just because I want the Ravens to win that division because I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. Anyway, next game on the slate is the New Orleans Saints going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Who you got, Jack?
I mean, I don't know. I can't, James could analyze it better than I can. I mean, I don't want to say two teams going nowhere this year, but the Saints have been playing well. They've put a streak of victories together. Both teams are basically on the same boat. I like the Saints a little more going forward, into next year. I kind of like their personnel a little better. I don't go in this Cam Ward hype like he's this big leader, this big franchise quarterback, like he's the next coming of Joe Burrow or someone. I don't buy into that with Cam Ward. We'll see what Cam Ward's going to become. The jury's very much out on him. Maybe he becomes a good quarterback, but he hasn't come close to, Jaden Daniels or C.J. Stroud, what they did in their rookie year. He hasn't. But I'm going to go with the Titans to eke out a win over the Saints today, 20-19. I can't tell you why.
I love how Jack just sets you up to think what he's going to say, and it goes totally.
I can't tell you why. It's going to be a close. Listen, they're evenly matched teams, but now
I could have sworn you're going to say it was going to be the Saints.
No, I mean, I like to listen. The Saints. I like what's going on with them this year lately. You look at their individual pieces; they seem to be moving in the right direction. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team next year, the Saints, but they've taken at least a step forward. If you look at increments where you need to get, they've taken a step forward. I don't think the Titans have taken any step forward. But for one given game today, it's at Tennessee. I think it's a game Tennessee could maybe eke out.
Well, I will say that to have success, I agree with you. I think they've taken some strides and steps and going in the right direction. Because, again, we talked about it yesterday on the debate show. Having a good head coach and a good quarterback makes all the difference in the world to build from a foundation. And I think right now, Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck are positioning themselves to be the future for the Saints. And so with that being said, I like Cam Ward and I like what he did. He had arguably his best game against Kansas City last week, and that's saying a lot. I heard you say, Jack, that you don't buy into the hype. It's hard to buy into hype when there's nothing around you. I mean, literally, when we talk about offensively weapons, when you mention Jaden Daniels, you can mention also Scary Terry. When you mention Bo Nix, you can also mention Cortland Sutton. These guys are 1,000-yard receivers. These are actually really good weapons that a young quarterback can have. You can't tell me anything in Tennessee that's really an option for Cam Ward. And so the jury's going to be still out on that team. And there's an interim head coach there too. So, I mean, there's a lot going on there that's not really built for success for a young rookie quarterback. So I give him a pass. But with that being said, I like Chuck.
I'm giving a pass. Let me just put in. I'm giving Cam Ward a pass. He hasn't shown me anything negative or positive. He's played the year. He's got experience. I can't evaluate him. I'm not going to say he's a good quarterback for the future. I just don't know with him.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I like the Saints, and I think that they're going to have an opportunity to win here. The only scary thing about it is that we have a terrible interior offensive line, and they're going up against Justin Simmons, and he's a monster up that middle, and so that could slow the game down. And Tennessee has a good running game, and Saints aren't that great against the run, even though they've been doing a little bit better because the defense. Brandon Staley has that defense number 11 overall ranked in the last few games, and so they're doing better. Chase Young is getting after the quarterback. Cameron Jordan is finding the fountain of youth. He's at 130 sacks total in his career. He got 2 last game. We had 8 total last week. So we could win the game, and I'm going to pick us to win, but it's going to be a close one. I'm going to pick the Saints to win a close one.
Yeah, I'm picking the Saints hands down. I'm not even going to a whole side of things. Saints going to win that game. Just on a side note, though, Cam Ward, he has nothing to work with. I think he's done a pretty admirable job for the things that he has around him. So he can't shine like Jaden Daniels did or C.J. Stroud did in his rookie year. He can't shine like that. So, or Bo Nix for that matter. So I'm not passing judgment on Cam Ward until he has some productive weapons around him. Next game, the Rams going to Atlanta. Who you got, Jack?
I mean, the Rams should win this game. If any team's not playing for anything at all, you get the feeling it's the Rams. It's the Falcons, excuse me. It's Raheem Morris going to come back as the head coach. What's their quarterback situation next year? Michael Penix has been injured. Do they believe in him? If they believe in him, he'll start next year. If not, I don't see them rolling with Kirk Cousins. They're going to kind of move on from him, and he'll wind up somewhere. I don't know where. And the Falcons, every year they disappoint us. Every darn year. And then we overrate them, and we think, I didn't this year, but a lot of people do. And they're going to project them to maybe win the division title next year, this or that. And Rams, if you have to say any one team is maybe a favorite to win the Super Bowl based on just current form, maybe it would be the Rams. I would think they would win this game even in Atlanta by a couple of touchdowns, something like 27-13.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So Bijan Robinson leads the league in scrimmage yards. He's over 2,000 right now. He needs 151 yards to surpass the Falcons' William Andrews all-time record for 2,183 yards. That being said, that just tells you how much talent is on this team and what a disappointment they have been. And it's just offensively particularly. And it's just been – I picked them to win a division this year at the beginning of the season. Because you can't look at this team and assess, and who would think that with all this talent that you have offensively, you're going into the season and you picked up some players on your defense in your first round, you got 2 bookends, and they're playing lights out with their hair on fire, and you're still near the bottom of your division, and it's just unfortunate. And to me, that doesn't bode well for Raheem Morris. I think that just shows that there's some ineptitude there with coaching. One of the wide receiver coach got fired earlier in the season, and I think he took the blame for some of the things that was going on there that he probably shouldn't have taken the blame for. And at the end of the day, this may be a tremendously hot seat for Raheem Morris, and maybe Zach Robinson, or maybe they keep Zach Robinson and move him into the head coaching position, because the offense still seems to be doing some things. It's just a matter of personnel, like you said, Jack, at quarterback. Maybe they don't believe in Michael Penix, or maybe when Michael Penix comes back from injury and they become lights out. I'm going to pick the Rams. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, you mentioned Raheem Morris again. There's a little bit of an X factor here. He was on the Ram coaching staff, who just came over. So there's a lot of familiarity he has practicing against Matthew Stafford day after day.
So was the offensive coordinator too. Zach Robinson came from that Sean McVay tree, and so it's going to be a very interesting game. And I'm going to say honestly, the last few games that I've seen with the Rams, they've had a few close games against like really decent teams. I mean, look, they went into Carolina and lost that game. And can they go into Atlanta and lose this game? Possibly.
Is Davante Adams playing? Do you guys know?
Possibly not, because honestly, his hamstring was still an issue, and I think they're probably trying to spare him for playoff. And they don't want to re-injure that or aggravate the hamstring. And so, a guy like that, you want to have him for the playoffs. So I probably wouldn't play. And Puka Nacua is leading the league in receptions, and he's second in receiving yards. So he's having an outstanding year. So you don't really need Davante Adams.
Is he first in social media posts?
That's hilarious. That's pretty funny, actually. But with that being said, and the Rams have a good running game too. But I'm gonna pick the Rams here because I think they're still trying to keep in that race for first place. But it's gonna be hard. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta just comes out and show a really good game. But I'm gonna pick the Rams in a close one here in Atlanta.
I think that this is the same kind of game that they fell in the trap to against Carolina. Okay, they had to go all the way to the East Coast to play an NFC South team. Carolina to me is a better team than Atlanta. So Stafford really made that game, bad. He threw 2 interceptions and lost a key fumble on a drive to win the game. And you can't do that. And I'm thinking Stafford is like, you know what? I remember what happened when we went to Carolina. I ain't going to let that happen this time. I think Stafford is going to light that Atlanta defense up. I'm sorry. They're going to light them up. I just think that's just – and really, Seattle, when they lost to Seattle, Stafford lit them up too. And he had no interceptions or nothing. So you can either, win by Stafford and or lose by Stafford doing all that crazy stuff, or you can lose by Stafford doing the greatest stuff. It depends on whatever defense the Rams show up, because that was a defensive meltdown and a special teams meltdown by the Rams against Seattle, because they should have won that game. But I just think there's too much talent right now. I think the Rams are just getting into that focus mode. It might be a little bit more difficult without Davante out there, but still they can win games. I'm going with the Rams on that one. All right, so we got 2 games left. Both of them are real heavy hitting games. We got Philadelphia at Buffalo. Who you got here, Jack?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Buffalo. The Eagles, we were talking a couple of weeks ago whether they were starting a free fall the way they did last, 2 years ago, last year they won the Super Bowl, of course, in between Super Bowl appearances. And then they won a couple of games, looked fairly good, but against a couple of the weaker teams. Certainly something Buffalo isn't going to Buffalo to play. I don't think it matters that much if the Eagles lose. It's how they lose. If they lose another close game, if they lose something like I think they will, maybe 30-24 in overtime. It's not a big deal as far as their current state goes, as long as they're competitive. And neither team seems to be playing for that much right now. Buffalo secured it going to be in the playoffs. The Eagles have their division won. So I think it's a question of just pride. Two of the elite teams playing, the competitive nature comes out. And I'll go with Buffalo to win in Buffalo there. Like I said, something like 30-24.
The great thing about this game is that you have two star running backs on both sides, two star running quarterbacks on both sides. So this is going to be a really big running game here because both defenses are crappy against the run. So we're going to see some really good. We're probably going to see a 100-yard game from both running backs. I honestly, I just believe, and I think the game's going to be, like you said, Jack, competitive, and it's going to be close. I still got the Bills at home because I just think I'm going to give the edge to Josh over Jalen Hurts, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset here and the Eagles come and win. But sorry, Monkey, but I mean, I'm with you, Monkey. I think the Bills are going to win, but both teams are not. Let me see, are still playing for division.
They are still playing for division.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, we're not talking mathematically. We're talking about logically. Teams know what's going on. I just want to say one thing. I always talk about A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the wide receivers, Saquon Barkley, great running back. Dallas Goedert, we got to give him his due. He might be Jalen Hurts' favorite weapon of everyone at this point. Last year, obviously, it was Saquon Barkley, but Dallas Goedert is the guy. That's his Jalen Hurts' security blanket on the team. They're tight end.
I wanted the Saints to pick him. I wanted the Saints years ago when he first came out. I wanted them to draft him because he was like I think South Dakota or North Dakota, whoever the Jackrabbits are. I think he played for them. But anyway,
North Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's North Dakota too. I'm not sure. It's one of those two because they're both good teams. But he was a beast coming out of there, man, and it's come to fruition. He was a great pickup for them, and he's been a great addition to that team, since he got drafted there. But yeah, I got Buffalo still.
Yeah, I got Buffalo as well. Buffalo's got to get that run defense shored up by the playoffs. I'm sorry, Monkey. If they cannot stop the run, they ain't got no hope in the playoffs because that's what these teams are doing. They're going to run right at you. And especially if Baltimore gets in there again, yeah, I think Henry's going to learn from his first experience in Buffalo. He ain't going to do that again. But, yeah, Buffalo has more to play for. And you can say whatever you want to say, Jack. Technically, the Patriots can lose a game. That's what's going to come down to. They got to beat. They already, they're 1-1 in the division against each other. This is going to be for division. They got to keep winning in order to win that division. So this is a game I think they can win. I think Philadelphia they're going to ho hum it because right now they can't. I mean, they can possibly get a second seed, but I'm not seeing that happening in the next two games. I mean, they do got to play the Commanders again, but I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo to do that. I think they're going to be happy in their third seed. So I got Buffalo. Next game, I think is going to be one of the games of the week as well. Chicago at the 49ers. Chicago's already wrapped up their division. However, Chicago's one of those four teams that are trying to vie for that number one seed. And guess who they're playing? The other team that's trying to vie for that number one seed in San Francisco. And they're going to San Francisco. Now, Kittle may not play in this game. He isn't going to play in this game. Who you got, Jack?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the number one seed because that's what teams are going to put out more for. Not so much winning the division. Winning a division is nice. Seeding is nice, and then it can get you an extra home game. But teams know you get the bye. You have to win 2 games to the Super Bowl as opposed to 3 otherwise, okay? Mm-hmm. And now 2 games are both home games. You don't have to travel. You don't have to get on a plane. They're going to play. You play hard for that. Winning the division, maybe you put out a little more, but it's not nearly as important. 49ers, what can I say about them? They've not only been winning their games, they've been doing it decisively. They're the ultimate slip under the radar team this year. And Brock Purdy's got it all together. So when Mac Jones was playing well, and they were winning with a backup quarterback, maybe the Niners were making Mac Jones look good as opposed to vice versa. Because Brock Purdy's at the top of his game. What could I say about the Bears? You know Ben Johnson better than you know James and myself his years at the Lions. I like the Niners in this game at home. I trust them a little more to win 33-20. For the Bears, they've won their division now. To me, they're playing with house money. The year has been a major success no matter what. Not that it hasn't been for the Niners, but the Niners have that void missing out on the Super Bowl. A lot of us thought their window is closed. I thought their window closed. Apparently, it hasn't closed. So, but I like the Niners in this game, 33-20.
So, what you said about Kittle, if he's not playing, that's going to be a big deal, man. I hope he plays because I want to see all out for both.
Yeah, he's ruled out.
Yeah. Oh, he's been ruled out?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. They got good wide receivers, but it's not. It's a total mismatch when he's in the game, man. That's not a good thing. And look, as great as Christian McCaffrey is, he's averaging 3.7 a clip, running. So he's taking a lot of carries and he's taking a beating, and he's still a great running back. But to me, he's not the same dude he was maybe 5 years ago, like sort of like Alvin Kamara. In New Orleans, it's just not the same. And so with that said, I like the Bears. Now, is Roma Dunze playing or Luther Burden?
He's out too.
Both those guys, Luther Burden too as well?
I got to see about Burden, but Dunze is out.
Yeah, he was out. Right. Yeah, but Burden's out too?
Burden might be back in. I don't see him on an injury report, so he's probably back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see him on the injury report.
This is going to be a running game. Yeah, DJ Moore and Caleb Williams showed something in that last game they played, man, in the overtime. And I think they want to continue that. I think that's that inspires teams. When you can win like that, it gives the team a little bit more motivation to say, you see where we are, we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp of getting that one seed if we can get it. We're there, and I'm pretty sure having a coach like Ben Johnson, he's radical, man. If you see how he celebrates with those guys and everything like that, man, they're believers. They bought in, and I think they're going to go there and upset the 49ers. That's my take, and I'm sticking with it.
That's your take, and you're going to stick with it. Just remember something though, that San Francisco still has CMC, and that dude's kind of hard to stop. I like San Francisco only because it's at home. I think San Francisco is focused. Now, not to say that Chicago's not, but I want to see what happens. And you clinched the division, okay? So they already clinched the division because Green Bay is a failure at life, and Chicago clinched the division. Let me see if he can put that motivation in a team like Dan Campbell did in the prior years when the Lions were winning games. Because there's, when Lions clinched their division the first time, there was a couple games they didn't really have to, they weren't they didn't have to motivate for it, but they won those games because that's what Dan does. He motivates you to win them. He didn't care. You're playing. You're going to play. I don't care how good. So let's see if Ben Johnson has that same motivational feature with the Chicago Bears. That'll be interesting. That's why I think this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really close game. I think both teams, they're gunning for that number one spot. Chicago definitely needs to go for that number one spot. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody out of the NFC North is going to the Super Bowl, but Chicago will make it challenging. That's for sure. But I do see San Francisco winning this, by about field goal or something like that. I just think at this time of the year, and Dunze is going to matter too. I think that's one of the things that you have to realize. And Dunze is going to matter one of these times, and this is one of the times he needs to matter, but he's not going to be there. So that's why I have San Francisco. and like I said, Chicago really, if you think about it, Chicago really doesn't have anything to play for because they've already established where they're at. They have a one division, so and they're in 11-4. I think they're the 2 seed right now, as a matter of fact.
So you're right. They're trying to play for the 1 seed. They have a running game. They also have a running game too with Monungai and Swift. So let's not forget. So yeah, I'm sticking with my take.
No, that's cool. No, I understand. I think it's gonna average out at the end of the game because both defense. Well, I think San Francisco defense is a little bit better, and I think they play a lot better with what's his face than they're gonna play for. Chicago's defense they got a lot of turnovers. They're an opportunity defense, but as far as stat wise, they're not very good. They're like near the bottom half of the league in defense. But their turnovers is what makes them deadly because you can't be messing around and thinking that you're just going to be running and passing all on this team without them trying to get some turnovers on you. So they're very focused in that area. I think that's what happened. Like I said, when you have AG and you have Ben Johnson, you can see some similarities to what Dan Campbell did with the Lions in both of their teams. And I think that's one of the things that Dan Campbell did with the Lions, too, is he focused on the turnovers in the first couple of seasons, and that's what they were doing. That's why they were so successful. And Ben Johnson is doing the same thing. He knows his defense ain't the greatest defense, but if you put yourself in those opportune moments, you'll be able to get some stuff done. So, like I said, it could go either way, this game, but I'm picking San Francisco because they're at home. On that note, we have concluded the show. Was there anything that you wanted to say there, Jack? How about you, James? Any parting words? All right. For everybody, enjoy your games today. They're going to be important. Most of the games are going to be important. Other than that, have a great time. Catch Jack and Keith tomorrow on the weekend playbook. And at 7 o'clock, Jack's going to have a special guest down there with Frank for the Gloved Fist. So everybody, tune in. Have a good day.